Anyone who grew up hearing the names of Homer, Marge, Lisa, Bart, and Maggie would definitely know which favorite family cartoon comedy we're referring to. More than just being funny, though, The Simpsons have also been notoriously known to make some extraordinary predictions through their episodes. One of the most notable ones you would probably recall is how Donald Trump would have become the President of the United States. Now, who could ever forget that? With The Simpsons still running into 2023, perhaps it's a good idea for us to take a cue from their episodes and predict what might actually happen further down the future. Do watch until the end of the video, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Without further ado, here are 10 of the most realistic predictions that just might come true. Number 1. First up, we might have anticipated witnessing the Kansas City Chiefs winning back-to-back according to The Simpsons. Avid fans, or just the general public who knows someone who knows football, would be more than well aware that the Kansas City Chiefs ended up winning the Super Bowl in 2020. Needless to say, these powerhouses had the odds to win again. What was vividly shown in an episode of Season 10 was Homer and all of his friends basically heading out to a football game, and guess what? The Kansas City Chiefs end up celebrating their victory again. But alas, we can see that in 2021, that this particular prediction had been debunked, and the true winners of the Super Bowl this year in 2021 were the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Number 2. Do you recall the episode Bart to the Future? The very same one which predicted Donald Trump becoming President of the United States of America? That very same episode also gave us a little glimpse of how we're becoming more adept with technology. So it's definitely not a surprise if we were ever able to send our mail out with hologram mail. After all, over a span of less than 3 decades, we did manage to evolve from snail mail to email to instant messaging using our watches. The tech isn't too far off from the future, so this is one that we could definitely be looking forward to coming true soon. What do you think? Do leave a comment if this is something you'd want to see too. Number 3. Another prediction that was made in the same Bart to the Future episode. I really love the way that rolls off the tongue. Marge and Homer Simpson were going to have dinner together, but instead of the usual family-style home-cooked American dinners we typically see, it was definitely a new sight to be seen. If you recall Back to the Future 2, where Marty McFly met his future family having dinner, they microwaved a tiny pizza into a large pizza. What Marge and Homer Simpson did, however, was put on a pair of VR goggles and started sucking their food from a tube. Honestly, that's quite weird on a couple of levels, but I don't know. Maybe all of us really hate chewing in the future. But in a sense, we can all definitely see this being kind of half true. There was actually a special event in New York City not too many years back where a restaurant had all their guests put on VR goggles and tasted something unknown. I guess that's what you could really call a feast for your eyes. Number 4. I suppose there's a trend here that whenever a Simpsons episode showcases the future of some sort, we can't help but tie it back that it's a really scary, yet completely realistic depiction of something that could actually happen a lot earlier than we think. For example, in one of the holiday episodes, we see Maggie with a robot helper that pretty much gives her an ultrasound and even some advice on what to do while she's pregnant. Robots have been around for a long time now, in automotive industries as well as the medical field, so this idea really doesn't seem too far-fetched. In fact, there's actually a doctor in Japan working on a medical robot that can help out pregnant women, but probably not to the extent and mechanics of what we see in that episode. But who knows? Robots are becoming more and more human-like, so it's really only a matter of potentially a few years before we start seeing more robot helpers readily available to the public. Number 5. So as much as Donald Trump might not have been too happy with losing the election in 2020 to Joe Biden, the Simpsons are guessing that Donald's daughter, Ivanka Trump, would actually take the mantle as president in 2028. Now this is quite an interesting and potentially controversial topic, but her winning would essentially make her the first female president of the United States. Impossible? We can't say that, since The Simpsons did correctly predict that Donald Trump would take the presidency one day, and he did. All I know here is that if Ivanka Trump were to even get herself into the running, it's highly likely that her dad Donald would do whatever he can to help Ivanka out, since he would quite possibly want his family to have future success in politics as well. Number 6. This next one takes fantasy into reality, as one particular Simpsons episode showcased Marge Simpson leaving Homer Simpson because what else? You guessed it, Homer did something stupid again. And this time it was putting his entire life savings into underwater homes. Who could blame him though? It's like you become the king of Atlantis or Aquaman, living in a home where you're able to see marine life passing through the window. We're technically halfway there, as not too long ago there was a floating home built on the shores of Dubai, with half of the home above water and making it seem like it was floating. However, the other half was nicely submerged, where you can actually see marine life through a large window. The only issue with this right now is that you probably need about $2.8 million worth of savings to spare. So The Simpsons might be right on the money with this one. Would you put all of your life savings for such a home? Number 7. Sometimes it's possible that the creators of The Simpsons are just really smart. Can we just give them that? There's no way they can be time travelers. Or could they? Over the last few years, we have seen many great companies merge together, such as Disney and 20th Century Fox, Heinz and Kraft, Verizon and Vodafone, among many other notable conglomerates. In one of The Simpsons episodes, Homer was at the bar watching the television when it was announced that the biggest networks, NBC, CNN, and CBS, would all actually merge together to become one singular entity. If you think about it, it's once again not impossible, but it probably won't happen as a merger. And acquisitions typically happen if a company isn't doing well, or the company is doing extremely well, well enough for a takeover. I guess The Simpsons know something we don't know. Number 8. Who doesn't like talking about human life on Mars? This seems to be the most recent buzzword lately. And while we've seen an episode of Homer going into space, another one in season 28 showed Lisa signing up for a solo expedition to Mars. This was because the company she teamed up with was looking to colonize the Red Planet. And if you're familiar enough, this sounds exactly like Elon Musk's SpaceX, but it was never really specifically mentioned. In our lifetime, this is definitely something we probably want to see, as Elon Musk does plan to send life to Mars in the next few years to come. Whether it'll be as extravagant as The Simpsons portrayed it out to be would definitely be a different story. Number 9. Speaking of Elon Musk and his desire to take his ventures of Tesla, Solar City, Hyperloop, and SpaceX all the way to Mars, another Simpsons episode features Lisa entering a derby car race, but with them not using standard derby race cars. Instead, The Simpsons are predicting an environmental movement where all cars in the future are solar-powered, which is not exactly a new invention. But with climate change and how more people in the world are actively trying to make a difference, it may actually only be a matter of time before all petrol-based cars would be replaced by electric cars, and subsequently solar-powered. I'm definitely betting on Elon Musk in making this happen. What do you think? Number 10. The Simpsons would probably take partial credit for this one, as we've seen the likes of Terminator, RoboCop, and iRobot, where robots go rogue, take over our world, and simply create the plot to every dystopian movie. There are various episodes where robots take over after being created, and the realism is seemingly closer to us as we develop artificial intelligence. While humans will create innovative and intelligent robots that make our lives a lot easier, these episodes do seem to address the possibility that the artificial intelligence we arm these robots with would somehow turn them sentient enough to realize that humans are the source of their own issues. We might want to consider getting rid of our laptops, phones, and Wi-Fi. What do you think? Are The Simpsons the ultimate crystal ball? Or is it really just luck? Let us know which of the above you think would most likely come true. And as always, thank you for watching. This is Top 5 Awesome, so don't forget to subscribe and click on the little bell below to get notified for more of these videos.